Hello guys, welcome back ladies and gentlemen. So I'm just from the church, that is why I'm still wearing a tie. Also I was told to put this on to avoid blue light. But on this video I want to speak majorly on AI with programming, and what I want to speak majorly is on what we are currently seeing in the tech space. So currently what we see in the tech space is that it appears that anyone, not the junior, not the mid-level developer, or not even the senior developer. Anyone now with just some bit of AI skill seems to be able to build anything. Yeah. So if you want an app, you can use one of those AI agents in the online, such as Lovable, Cloud AI, or even ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever, and then just build the app that you want. But now, so the question that I was asked during the week by someone is that, is programming the same? Some 10 years back, programming was really something that I would say was extremely, will I call it valuable? I'll say it was reserved for quite a very few number of people who were able to master and understand how coding works, and how software engineering works, mathematics and everything. But now it seems that that demarcation between those people who are geeks in the programming world and the common person is now fading away. So the question that I think which is really important to answer is that, does it really matter now to be a geek, or to take time to understand programming with this age of AI? And so I will say this, I will say that it matters in a very big way. So let me try and explain. So currently, or over the years, we have always have the three levels of programming. I'll say junior, mid-level, and the senior developer. And so the junior level is someone who do not have a lot of knowledge in the programming space, and maybe is just starting to build something, maybe small applications. Mid-level, he has a number of maybe years under his belt. He has built maybe 5 applications, maybe 3-5 years experience. And then senior is someone who has build a lot of big applications. Probably he has had the opportunity to manage teams. He has had the opportunity maybe of DevOps, building extremely complex infrastructure. Yeah. So I would say that AI does not really still take this away. And the reason is, for example, if you give a junior developer a task to do, maybe build an app, that limited knowledge is what basically he will apply on the AI. Though both of these guys, the junior, senior, mid-level, will build an app, but the architecture will be totally different. And this is basically based on their knowledge base, yeah? So the junior level probably will build just an app, just tell AI, you know what, I want an app that does maybe managing tasks and maybe managing events. And then AI will just, build a custom app very quickly without really applying the best patterns on this application. The mid-level developer probably will do the same thing, but with a bit of experience and knowledge, he'll tell the AI to do some tweaks in order to produce a good application. But now you see the way the senior developers use the application or the AI is that they will give some very say specific instruction in regard on how maybe the code should be optimized, on how the application UI should be optimized. And they will know even by looking at the application if the AI has not done a really good job. Yeah. So they will tell the AI, you need to improve on this UI to make it look at this way. You need to improve on this function to make it look this way. You need to maybe apply and use queues here. You need maybe to use broadcasting here. You need maybe to use events here. They have really a deep domain knowledge, and they understand I'll say the best practices on going about how to solve a problem. So that I think that is a skill that still remains and is still extremely valuable when it comes to programming. Now, the second thing is the ability to quickly understand the code and to be able to explain it and break it to your peers, or to, let me say, to your teammates. So junior developers, most of the time, they will be a beautiful application and they have run, they have told the AI to do this, do that, and then afterwards, when you maybe ask someone to explain, you just take a function, from his code and just tell him, what does this application or what does this function do? Probably they won't really give a clear explanation because they don't really have a good understanding of what the function does. A mid-level might try to explain and, it might be better. But now, where you really see now the gaps in knowledge and skill is senior developer. Most of the time they will really break the code down in a very interesting way. They will tell you, you see, this for loop is going through this, and here we need to use a queue, since if you are using this without putting it in the queue, it will cause this to lag. And since this language is multi-threaded or single-threaded, then you need to apply this and this until you understand that this person is not just aiming for the outcome. He clearly understand what are the best practices and how to scale this application better. So what happens is that many times we find that when application becomes extremely huge, with thousands of code, and the functionality becomes extremely complex, it becomes extremely hard for junior developers to maintain this application. The simple reason being they never applied better structures when building this application with AI. They never considered better architecture when setting up this application, maybe for development, deployment, maybe for optimization. And now when an application starts getting maybe millions of data, it starts lagging down, the performance just drops down. So that is what I can say from AI and programming perspective, that the knowledge gap is extremely important in these fields. And I believe even in this age of AI, don't just tell AI to be doing everything for you. Spend some time, be going through the documentation, try to go through some blogs. Even if you are using AI, just try to tell your AI to help you understand what the code is doing and maybe how you can improve that, and also maybe how you can apply best practices in what you're doing. So that is it, guys. And if you like the content, leave a like and also subscribe. And until we meet again, bye bye.